Have you ever felt that quiet awareness that something in your life no longer fits who you are becoming, even though everything looks stable from the outside? It doesn't begin as chaos. It begins as tension, a subtle sense that you are forcing yourself to stay in a space that no longer matches your growth. You tell yourself to hold on a little longer, to be responsible, to endure. But misalignment doesn't disappear just because you ignore it. Eventually, life increases the pressure. There is always a whisper before there is disruption. A woman sits at her table late at night scrolling through job listings. She tells herself she's only curious, but her journal tells a different story. In its pages, she writes about exhaustion, about feeling unseen, about sensing she has outgrown her environment. Yet every morning she returns to the same place, hoping the discomfort will settle. Psychiatrist Carl Jung wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." What we suppress internally eventually shapes what happens externally. The whisper is gentle, but it is consistent. When the whisper is ignored, the body begins to communicate. Stress becomes constant. She finds herself sitting in the car before work, gathering strength just to walk inside. This feeling is a sustained misalignment. Endocrinologist Hans Selye showed that chronic stress moves the body from resistance into exhaustion. When your external life contradicts your internal truth, your nervous system never fully rests. Burnout is often the body asking for a change the mind refuses to make. The mind negotiates. The body keeps score. Then comes the breaking point. After years of living in misalignment, years of internal stress, silent anxiety, and pushing through what her spirit knew was wrong, her body finally speaks. In the middle of a high-stakes assignment at work, one that demanded everything from her, she experiences a health scare that stops her in her tracks. For the first time, she cannot power through. She cannot perform. She cannot pretend. And in that moment, she realizes something deeper. It is there, at her lowest physical point, that she takes her first conscious step toward a better life. She chooses to remove herself from the environment that has been slowly draining her life force. Mythologist Joseph Campbell, in The Hero with a Thousand Faces, described how the hero's journey often begins with disruption. The ordinary world must break before transformation can begin. Sometimes life removes you from a place because you would have never chosen to leave. What feels like rejection may be protection. What feels like failure may be interruption for redirection. After the disruption comes stillness. There is a morning without urgency, a breath without pressure. She journals again, and this time the words feel clearer. The tension that once felt permanent begins to loosen. Philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche wrote, "One must still have chaos in oneself to give birth to a dancing star." Chaos is not always destruction. Sometimes it is restructuring. The ending was not punishment. It was an alignment. If you stay in misalignment long enough, there will come a breaking point, not to harm you, but to preserve who you are becoming. The whisper is guidance. The stress is warning. The ejection is redirection. So ask yourself honestly, where in your life are you tolerating what no longer aligns with your growth? And if this message resonates with you, if you've experienced a moment where life forced you into a new direction that later made sense, then this channel is for you. Subscribe for more reflections on growth, psychology, spirituality, and transformation. Because sometimes the most painful endings are simply the beginning of alignment.